Monday, folks. It's Monday. I have a coffee. It is 6:48 in the morning, so Jesus, how can I put this? It's been a very crazy weekend. One of my mates who was supposed to come see me, he's lived in London his entire life. But bear in mind, he does travel. Not just for work, sometimes he says, you know what, I want to see my mate in Portsmouth or Hull or Newcastle or wherever. And he will grab an overnight bag, get train tickets, and just go. Now bear in mind, he grew up in London, so no point in getting a driver's license. Not for the line of work he does. He owns his own business in Camden Market, and it's a jeweller's business, so he makes, I wouldn't say he makes stupid money, but he makes good money, and he knows the business. He can look at a ring, he can look at a diamond, he can look at any kind of precious metal or gem and tell you within a gnat's dick in weight or in carat. The guy is fucking amazing. He can literally look at something and go, that's dirty platinum, that's this, that's that. And I'm like, what the fuck is dirty platinum? He goes, it's platinum, but in order to bulk it out, they've added white metal and da 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 da. I was like, how the fuck can you get it? And he tests it right in front of me. He's got the boron chemical. He's literally got everything. And I said to him, you should freaking like live stream this stuff, mate, because people would be watching you like crazy. And he was like, nah, no one wants to see a 45-year-old man fucking around with, stopping people from trying to pass off moody gold and all this shit. And I'm like, you'd be amazed, mate, you'd be amazed. Well, he was on his way to come see me, and he gets fucking, some fucking immigrant tries to accost him on the fucking bus, because apparently this immigrant was told that my friend walks around with a ton of cash and gold on him without security. Fucking muppet. So he pulls out a fucking potato peeler, not actually a potato, I don't think it was a potato, but anyway, he pulls out a blade, and this is on the bus, this is on the fucking bus, a public bus, and tries mugging my mate. Now bear in mind, I love my mate, I love him to bits, but he's not a fighter. He's not. I mean, he could fight. I've seen him fight. And he can handle himself. When we were younger, I'm not sure now, but when he was younger, definitely. And he gets into it, he ends up getting cut, going to the hospital, getting a couple of stitches. Police are like, well. It's like, no, they ain't going to do shit because he's an immigrant. They won't do shit, they're too busy protecting him. That's it. And so now my mate, who's now seen it from the other end, because he was pro-immigration, he was pro the illegals, now he's like, fuck them. Fuck them. Send them all back. Da 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 da. I'm like, oh, so you've finally seen the darker side of life, kind of thing, So that's been happening on. What else? My health has been going to shit. Found an I had keyword infection, and doctor prescribed me antibiotics. Turns out I'm allergic to the antibiotics. So me being allergic to antibiotics did more damage than the infection was doing. My body had already almost beaten the infection anyway, but he gave me a 2-day, like a weekend dose of some antibiotic, some generic antibiotic, kind of thing. I'm like, oh, great. So I take the first tablet. Within 10, 15, 20 minutes, I felt like shit. Couldn't breathe, very lethargic. My face was swelling up, my hands were swelling up, my feet are still swollen. Okay? And I was like, what the fuck? Put on some compression socks. Well, actually some really brand new socks, so they're tight, so basically somewhat compression socks, but they're not compression socks. And within an hour of me taking the socks off, you could see fucking gouges from where the socks had stopped my feet from swelling even more. Called 111, our non-emergency number. And they were like, oh yeah, you might, keep an eye on it, but take an antihistamine. I was like, okay. So I grabbed some antihistamines. The swelling went down. I was like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden, my whole entire body felt like it was being violated. I've roughhoused, I've fought, I've served my country. I've done stuff that boggles the mind, physically, mentally, spiritually. You fucking name it. I've done it. And as I was doing that, for some fucking reason, it just felt like everything in my body was broken. And I called 111. I called a friend of mine who's a nurse in the NHS. She came over. She checked on me. She was like, what's going on? I showed her the prescription and what I've done and everything else. And she's like, what's your known allergies? I was like, pineapples and wasps. And she goes, stop taking this medication right now. I was like, why? And she goes, one of the bilingual ingredients is extract of pineapple. I was like, what? She goes, certain companies will use emulsifiers or fillers from plants or things of that nature. 1 second. Nuts, mister. Sorry. There's a timed pop-up on the other computer. I've got to get over and hit it in time, kind of thing. So when it comes back up, I'll nail it. But so that's been going on, and so I've been dealing with that. I finally got it dealt with. She told me the antihistamines just masked the symptoms. Like, look, the swelling is a symptom, but not the symptom. There's more than one symptom. And she was explaining it to me. And she said, me masquerading that one symptom just basically fooled my body into letting whatever it was run rampant. So, called my doctor the next morning. Well, called the office, left a message, and that was on the Friday. Saturday, doctor calls me back, and he was like, what's going on? I told him exactly what's going on. He was like, it's not in your file that you're allergic to pineapples. I was like, the fuck it isn't. Because when I went to Oxford Hospital for my EEGs and my MRIs and a whole bunch of other stuff, they asked me, am I allergic to anything? And I said, wasps and pineapples, and they put it on my fucking file. I know the NHS knows this. Well, apparently it's not on his end. So, yeah, so that was fun. Then, full disclosure, I do have a memory issue right now. Namely, Tuesday, I put a baked potato in the oven. And I put it in the oven at about 5:30 because it takes about an hour, so I knew about 6:30, 7 o'clock I'll be ready to eat. Well, I don't remember eating the fucking baked potato. I don't remember eating it. So, didn't think anything of it. Thursday rolls around. I thought to myself, I'll have another baked potato. Go to make it. Set the oven up, everything else, preheat it, go down there, go to put my new baked potato in there, and there's my old baked potato. I was like, what the fuck? I hadn't even taken it out of the oven. And yeah, it was not good. So I took the old baked potato out and threw it in the bin immediately. And I wrote down on... Here it is. I wrote down... Because I'm having to write things down now. I wrote down when it happened, what it was, and then I also found out that stuff of mine is just going missing. It's just going missing. Like, I can't find my big butcher's knife. That's just gone. It's just disappeared. And no one, because I live in a multiple occupancy home, which means I've got roommates. None of them know where the knife is. So I've lost a 12-inch knife from my knife set. It's literally missing it from the knife block, and it's driving me up the fucking wall. What else? Apparently I had completed certain things in one of my video games I've been playing and getting content for and whatnot, but I don't remember playing it. I don't remember doing it. I don't remember doing the quest, the campaign, handing it in, getting the experience, etc., etc. I also painted now all of my Star Wars Legion miniatures. They're all now painted, but I don't remember painting the last miniature I had left. I don't remember painting it, but it's painted. It's done. It's painted, but I don't remember painting it. That's happened. What else? My gym membership. I go to a specific gym here in the UK. I have a membership with them. It's a gym called Pure Gym, and when you go to sign in, you can sign in with the app on your phone. You on the door and you walk in. Apparently, I had been going to the gym, and I don't remember going. I feel it I feel it the next day when my body literally feels like someone's beating me from head to toe with a fucking a foam covered baseball bat. And I also know that my premix, which is that's left of it, this water bottle is just for my premix. And then when I went to the cupboard to look at my premix and my creatine and stuff and whatnot, someone's been using them. But I don't remember using them. I have no idea what's going on. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And according to my EEGs, my brain's fine. I have no idea what's going on. They're saying it's in my head. Well, yeah, obviously it's in my head, morons. And no one believes me. No one believes me. They all telling me it's in my head. I'm making it all up. Absolute bullshit. But one of my female friends, she's seen it happen to me. She saw it happen to me, and she even turns around and says, "Do you realise you have an audible tick, right?" And I was like, "What do you mean an audible tick?" And she explained to me what an audible tick is. Sometimes when you're a kid, you stick your tongue out, like, you know, when you're concentrating on something, you just stick your tongue out. You know, as EEV blog says, you just stick your tongue at the right angle as you're doing something. That is a facial tick. I was like, huh. And then I asked her, what's my facial tick? And she goes, you click your tongue. I'm like, what do you mean click my tongue? And she showed it to me. We were having a conversation, and apparently the conversation completely changed because my accent changed. And she's like, I didn't know you had a completely different accent. I was like, what was the accent? And she said it was Irish. And I was like, that's my natural accent. What you're hearing now, the English, is something I have to concentrate on. Because, again, I grew up in an Irish home with an Irish father. Okay, so I grew up with an Irish accent. But when I went into school, into public school, at the age of like 5, 6, 7 years old, teachers couldn't understand me. And so they were flunking me in specific classes. The only way, I'm the only child, I think, that ever got flunked out of fucking finger painting because the teacher couldn't understand what the fuck I was doing. So I had to concentrate in making an English accent. And when I explained this to my therapist was like, that actually makes sense, because when your brain shuts down and goes into a primitive state, which is what happens when you have a seizure and various other things, it's used to functioning on all 8 cylinders, yet when you have a seizure, it's functioning on 4 cylinders or 2 cylinders or whatever, and it's trying to still move the same amount of mass, but not the entire engine is fully going. That's the way my therapist put it. She knows I'm a gearhead, and it made sense. I'm like, so that means my brain went into fugue state or a primitive state? And she goes, yes, pretty much. This is what happened. Your brain tried to factory reset, and it got stuck in the reset and the reboot. 1 second. Ah, you bastard! Just as I got to the fucking desk. It's going to do that to me the entire day. It's one of these two-factor authentication codes. I need to... Not the right one. I need to stop it. Basically, that's my work computer. This is technically my main work computer. That's my old work computer. And so I'm trying to transfer files over. And some files are protected, which means I have to quickly go over there, type in a code to get the files to come across because they're encrypted. It's even on my own personal file sharing network, plus my own AI as well. And that's another thing. Everyone keeps asking me about my AI. Okay, let me make this abundantly clear. I took several basic LLMs, okay, machine learning algorithms, and I combined them into one. And what I've done is I've built a fundamental control AI, okay, the center core. And that center core then deviates out tasks to the other AIs. So think of it more of as a cluster, okay? So you got your center AI, this is one I talk to, okay? My center AI, then so if I give it a mathematical problem, it then contacts the AI that's the core that specifically just does mathematics. If I ask it a health one, it speaks to one that just does health. If I talk to one about physics or whatever, it will talk to whatever. And sometimes what it will do is I will tell it to expand. Now, expanding your AI does burn through GPUs. So if you're going to do an expand, do it on GPUs that you don't care about. And I mean this, okay? I am not made of money. I don't have GPU farms. I don't. But what I do have access to is I have access to ASIC miners. Now, an ASIC miner is in fact a GPU that's been heavily microcoded to only work on a specific algorithm. However, there's nothing stopping you, okay, from accessing public available nodes and then using those nodes to tackle a compute AI problem as if it's a coin, because an algorithm is an algorithm is an algorithm. That's one thing you can do. Now, me personally, what I do is I have access to ChatGPT full premium package. Costs me a fortune, but that allows me to use their GPU server farms. So what I do is when I want to update my AI's core and expand it, I run it through a specific program or an algorithm. And for me, I use... Now bear in mind, I'm going to show you the sort of programs I use. Okay, this is LLM Studios 03.23. Now, as you can see, it has tons of various things that you can talk about. Here I'm talking about Star Wars Galaxies and various other things, alright? But that's just an interface. This, by the way, the image, don't worry about that. That's an image from my AI. My AI generated that image. Now, point is, you use the LLM as the interface. That talks to my central core, which is located in a server rack underneath the stairs in my house. Okay? Now, it's a used server rack. I bought the main server rack itself for like £100. And I put a couple of SSDs in there and a few other things, and it's actually running an centralized Linux. Okay? I also run my entire network, so my router, even my wireless devices that speak to my router that's using a Freeboot and a few other things and whatnot, and some other apps and stuff. So I don't see ads, ever. I also have built-in hardware level VPNs, which means government can go fucking suck it. My ISP doesn't even know what the fuck I'm doing. If they try to pull up my connection, all they see is just I connect to nowhere. That's it. Anyway, so that server, that centralized server is the core. Okay, it's 2 Epic Ryzen servers, something or others, and it's not got the full whack of RAM that can go in it. It's only got like I think 128 gigs of RAM. It's not got the full whack of RAM. And when depending on the task I give my home AI, it can chew through all that RAM in a second. Now, I have to tell the cleaning lady who comes to clean the house to not turn off the server. You leave the server on. In fact, that server is even on a separate breaker. I had an electrician come in and install a second breaker with permission of my landlord, of course. And then I ran the correct cables from up here down to the ground floor, tucked them in via the stairs and whatnot, so you can't even really see them. And so I've got one computer over there that's powered off right now. That one, once I've finished cleaning it out and put a new OS on it and grab what's on it off of it and stuff, is going to one of my moderators over on Twitch. That's my way of saying thank you to him. And these 2 machines here, one is for work, the other one is for live streaming when I'm doing like painting streams, things of that nature, or a coding session and whatnot. And I can just sit there and just be in the zone, listen to my music and code away. This machine that I'm on now is specifically for work. So when I'm doing network penetration, things of that nature, or I'm just hacking a device. Like, one of the things I love doing is I love taking old phones and turning them into things that most people think you can't do. Case in point, I have...
Good morning. It's Monday the 18th of August.
Mm-hmm.
It's 7:10 a.m. Currently, it's 16 degrees with cloudy skies.
Uh-huh.
You can expect mostly cloudy skies until tonight.
Okay.
Today's high will be 24 degrees, and the low was 16.
Computer, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry for that interruption. And so, I take old phones, I put Graphite OS, I'll put Freeboots OS, I'll put different operating systems on the phones, tablets, laptops, you name it. I've got 2 laptops. One was from when I was in the military. It's not my military laptop. That was still kept by the British government, by the British MOD. It's the same model as that one, and I just have it for nostalgic reasons. I think it's running like Windows 95 on it right now. I'm not going to put the old OS on it that we used to have when we was in the army. I can't, because it's a specific copy of Windows that was designed by the British Army. But my other laptop is running Kali Purple. It's a form of Linux for hackers and whatnot. I have another round of books, physical books, on their way to me. Red team, purple team, blue team, shoot. I've got some of his other books up there, and I ordered 3 of his new books. They'll be up there here soon as well. So I've got a lot of reading to do to catch up with some of the newer standards and stuff to keep your skills sharp. I'm now freelance, which means I no longer work for the agency I used to work for. Yes, there are such things as coding farms or coding agencies, or in this case, cybersecurity agencies where you can literally hire a off-site tech like myself, and we will do what we need to do. Sometimes we're actually even hired by the previous company's competitors, and they ask us to inform them of what we've done to their rivals. And yes, that's highly frowned upon, but it's not illegal. I know one person who specifically does that to double down on his money. What he will do is he will work the 90-day contract, and on the 89th day he'll let their rival know that his contract is expiring in 24 hours, kind of thing. And then their rivals wait that 24 hours and pick him up immediately. And then he does a 90-day thing with them, and the previous employer goes, hey, what the fuck? You know, and now they have to rehire him after he's done over on company B, so he flip-flops between company A and B. You know? And smart. It is technically smart, I will give him that. However, I frown upon doing stuff like that. I personally refuse to work for either A or B. So it's the typical, if you vote Democrat then you hate Republicans, or if you vote Republican you hate Democrat kind of thing. No, that's not it at all. I have morals. So I refuse to work for a rival of a previous company that I've worked for. So when I take a job, I have to look at what other jobs are now blacklisted to me through my own personal ethics code kind of thing. I don't hack countries. So Iran, Russia, things of that nature. I don't get involved in political hacking. That's not what I get involved in. The reason why I don't do that is because, again, you're picking one side over the other. I have no bone to pick in the fight between Ukraine and Russia. I just think that conflict is just wrong. It's just stupid. I get it. You know, Russia wants to go back to the old days of communism and stuff, and Ukraine don't want that. And I get that. They want freedom. I'm with them on that. I'm with Ukraine on that. You know, I really am. Same as other conflicts around the world, India and Pakistan. Okay, if they can just put their personal beefs aside, they would be a powerhouse country, but they can't, and that's on them. You know. That is on them, unfortunately. And I just, as a ex-soldier, I'm tired of fighting. Fighting is necessary. Don't get me wrong. You should always walk into a room and have a plan in your head to kill everyone in that room. Doesn't matter who they are. That way, if shit does kick off, you're prepared. Prepare for the worst. Okay? Expect the worst and prepare for it, because that way when it does happen, everyone's running around screaming and you're just kicking off and taking names. You know what I mean? And I do that from a business perspective. When I am hired to do a penetration test, first thing I say to them is, remote is this cost, physical is this cost. And then they're like, why is the physical like twice the cost? And I was like, because I have to physically go to your location. That's why. I have to pay to have my hair cut, my beard trimmed off, things of that nature. I have to pay to physically make myself look completely as opposite as what I can. Because if I'm talking to you and you truly want to test your security, you're obviously going to tell your security officers, hey, this guy here, he's being paid to come and try and hack into us, yada, 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 yada. Look out for him. You know what I mean? And that's obviously a flawed test, because no real hacker is going to go, by the way, on Wednesday, on this time, at this date, I'm going to have this idea, I'm going to look like this, and I'm going to come into your office, and I'm going to steal your secret recipe to make sarsaparilla. You know what I mean? So, and that has happened to me. I've had a company, I'm not going to say the company's name, but I had a company that paid me, okay? They paid me to do a physical penetration test. And it was, I think it was like Was it my first company or my second company? It was either the first or second company I ever worked for. Did freelance stuff for. Would they ask for a copy of my ID so that they can, pay me? I didn't think anything of it, so I did that. So the first thing they did was they sent that ID to all the security guards. And I was like, huh. So obviously, if I go up to the doors dressed in, with a hard hat and overalls and whatever, they're gonna go, oh, hold on. How'd you go here? How'd you go, mate? How'd you go? Kind of thing. So I learnt my lesson the hard way. So now, whenever I'm paid to do a physical penetration test, I don't tell them what day I'm doing it. I don't tell them the day. I don't tell them the time. I don't tell them everything. I even give them my ID now. And what I will do is I will travel to wherever it is. I will book a hotel, and I will stay for a couple of days. And I will bide my time, and bide my time, and bide my time, and bide my time. And 9 times out of 10, what I tend to do, if it's like a big company or a big whatnot, I will tend to watch the shift rotations and things of that nature, or if there's new construction nearby or whatever, grab a hard hat, grab this, grab a clipboard, kind of thing. I will try to get pictures of their ID badges. I will try to get pictures of whatever. If it's an RFID, I will try to snag an RFID code with a grabber I've got. I'll hang out at the smoke break, at the smoke shack, and try and blend in and look the part. And people are talking to me. They're telling me, "Oh, John over here," and da 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 da. I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." And this has worked so many times. I'm going towards the security checkpoint. I've got a phone in my hand. I'm like, "Yeah, John. Yeah. I'm running a bit behind. 1 second, mate. Yeah, I'm running a bit behind. Yeah, I'm at security right now. What was that? Yeah. 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 Alright, cool, thanks." And then I immediately grab my stuff and go. Because they think I'm distracted and you know what I mean? Not realising that they haven't checked my ID, they haven't made me sign in, they haven't made me do anything, and yeah. in order to be a successful physical pen tester, you have to have balls of fucking steel. Which is fun, and you make friends. You do. You also make enemies. Same job actually. The head of security at that office that I did that pen test in. Yeah, he didn't like it because he didn't get his Christmas bonus, his annual bonus of like £60,000 or £80,000, and he was expecting that bonus to pay off his mortgage or whatever, and he didn't get it, and he was livid. Oh my god, he was livid. And it was not my fault. You weren't doing your job. And so I got in, I put in a rubber ducky on a USB port on the secretary's computer when she wasn't looking. And it ran a simple little script. I distracted her for a second, and I could see in the reflection of her glasses that the terminal came up and did all its thing, and I got a bleep on my phone, because my phone has Termex on it. If you don't know what Termex is an app you can get on rooted phones. I've got Termex on basically every phone I've got. And what that does is it acts as a Windows terminal command remote access, like a rat or a Trojan. So it allows me to literally just use my phone and bring up a keyboard and type away. So I'm hacking someone's computer, the network, while I'm waiting in their waiting room. Excuse me, sir, he's a little bit behind. That's fine, don't worry about it. I'm just in a bit of a text conversation. It's okay. Dick. Got the information I need. Start download. It's downloading. I'm talking to the secretary. Just chilling. Everything else, cameras are watching me. I'm not doing anything. I was just on my phone texting a friend. And I even have a thing called Cover App. Cover App is literally, it's a text AI bot. So that when they say, "Can I check your phone?" and they check my phone, and they go through and they look at my texts and stuff, and lo and behold, I have been texting someone, and they've been responding. You know, kind of thing. Not knowing that it's actually the phone I'm talking to. It's a pre-written script on my phone. I text something and the phone responds. Bling! 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 See? So it genuinely looks like I'm actually texting my girlfriend, or I'm texting wherever or whatever, you know. And I get a little notification, ding, job's done. And I just said to the person, you know what, I'll rebook an appointment, it's fine, don't worry about it. Get up, leave, go home, fill out the report. The report is usually between, if it's an easy, simple, quick and clean, 30 pages. If it's a very in-depth thing that I had to do, I will do anywhere between 45 to 100. The deepest deep dive I did was, no joke, close to 100 pages. It was about this thick. And then I burn it to CD. I even still have a CD burner, no joke. I burn physical copies. Up here I've got a big spool thing of CDs. If it's not going to knock everything off. Come on. There you go, see? Big spool of CDs. I buy these, the packs of 25. I buy them probably a new one of those once every 2 months. Depending on how during the winter and during like near the quarterlies, a lot of big companies will contact cybersecurity specialists and ask us to give them the whole yep, you're good, especially banks, because that's the banks keep their atoll protected shit because they have to be annually checked and hacked by government approved hackers and things of that nature to prove that they are secure, to keep their atoll protection. Doesn't mean they get to keep it. Not by a long shot. Anyway guys, this coffee's almost finished, so coffee's done. Video's done. Catch y'all later.